Hello and welcome again. I'm Hikari Harpy, and today we will be continuing coloring the Actress's Tale comic. So, I believe we're making some very good progress. Last time I decided on some background colors that I have never done before. Meaning that they were parts of the background that I had yet to finalize the colors on yet. But now that we've got essentially all the background colors of the Snapdragon Club needed, the coloring process for these next couple of panels should go quite smoothly. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the main camera. You might have already seen it earlier, but there it is. As you can see, I have attempted to color code pretty much everything as to what I plan to color it, save for a couple of spots in which I feel that coloring it of a similar color would not lend itself well to the readability of the overall image. For instance, with Max Fur Color, I decided that using the red pen would blend a little bit too much, and I do want that definition of being able to see his little front swoosh of hair. So I colored it all black or dark purple. I think in this case it's black though. And yeah, so I will get started on that really soon. I just want to do a little thing here. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So for those who don't know, last Tuesday stream, I was trying to do some stream troubleshooting for little miscellaneous things that could be done in the stream chat. So if you're ever around for either the Friday or the Tuesday stream, these little features should be available in the chat if you ever decided to stop by. So yeah, just little fun things to do. Because I always find that they make streams a lot more fun for those who manage to stop by. Like, of course, generally, streams are there to be, background noise and background music for when you're doing other things as well. So, if you can't really actually look at chat or anything, or don't have much to say, then I feel like having little mindless games like the fishing game over there makes for a nice little distraction as well. Plus it also gives me something to interact with as well. Because even though I can't hear when the fishing is currently happening, usually I can at least go hey, you caught something, that's neat. And hey, Mr. Repairman, welcome. It's nice to see you again. I hope you're doing well. Ooh, a pencil fish, nice. Back. I was just refilling the ink on some of these, but I believe I should be good for now, at least for some of these colors, and if not, I do have more refilling for these specific colors, so there's that. Checking that I have my page protector in there, because I'll stay with it. That's fine. Things have been going okay. How about you? Going all right. Are refillable pens and their ink price yet? Although we need to check. So if you're talking about the alcohol markers, so like it really depends on the brand. Copic markers are definitely like the priciest of the alcohol marker brand, and from what I could tell, it used to be that Ohuhu was like advertised as being a lot cheaper in terms of like the markers. However, I find that after a while, especially if you're going to be using them a lot, I feel like most of the price and the affordability starts to go into the refill inks, because you know the nibs of the markers, they're going to last a while, so like some might like bend or start to like frail a little bit at the ends, and I feel like generally those last a lot longer than like however much ink you'll end up using, at least in my experience. So what I've done is I've switched over to Blick Arts, Blick Studio for theirs. Not sponsored, not affiliated, by the way. But generally speaking, when I went to try and search up and see if there were more affordable refill inks, I saw Blick's art materials, and they were a lot cheaper than the stuff on Ohuhu or Copic. And to be honest, I would have stuck with Ohuhu for longer if they had more refills available, but the thing is their range of refills is not that great, and even if they do have it, they don't always ship to the United States, so there's that. I find a lot of the time when I'm trying to look for refills for a specific ink, they don't have it for the United States warehouses, so it's like, come on, man. And also there was like this thing where it's like they were like switching up the names of it, so I tried to get a refill for one type of blue only to get like a darker blue, and I was like, come on. So yeah, I've had a couple iffy experiences with trying to order more Ohuhu ink refills, so yeah. Chose the exact wrong colors for it, but I tried brush markers again after so long, and they feel better now than they did when I was in college. Brush markers, are you talking about like for watercolors? Because those are really neat. Unless you're just talking about like alcohol markers with brush tip nibs. Because there's also like water-based markers as well, so there's all sorts of mediums, all sorts of traditional mediums out there, all with their different little quirks, and it's just all about learning new tools. That's mostly what it is. Just markers with a brush tip. So most likely water-based, because those tend to be like the cheaper ones. But that's just my guess. But there's all sorts. Because, yeah, brush tip markers, it's like, could literally be filled with anything. That's why there's like alcohol ink or, water-based, or even like more traditional type inks. So, yeah, it matters. You got them as gifts. You think they're alcohol markers? Ooh. If they are alcohol markers, then sweet, yeah. But yeah, I don't know if anyone was expecting me to ramble about my alcohol marker excursions, but for those of you who wanted an opinion as to what sort of markers or inks to get, well, I guess there's my non-paid endorsement. At least for the time being, as of this. Who knows what the future might hold and all that, but yeah. Slowly getting better about my sleep schedule. I think I went to sleep a little too early because I ended up waking up at like 5 a.m. And I was like, gosh darn it. I mean, I felt well rested, so there's that. But I just wish I could time it right just a little bit better. But yes, for those who may be wondering, her hair is indeed dual toned. It is not some weird shading effect. It is exactly this type of dual toned hair. And honestly, so long as it's brown at the bottom and yellow at the top, I'm not too picky about it. I've done it in various shades of blonde and brunette over the years. Because I've drawn her so many times. So this is one I have not fully refilled yet. Okay. So as you can see, if the ink is a little bit streaky like this, that's usually the sign that it's running low on ink, because it should not be this streaky. And I have found that even though it can be streaky on one end, it does not always mean that the other is also as streaky, because each side is kind of also filled up on ink. But I tend to use the brush tip more, but refill from the chisel tip because it usually seems to like refill faster and easier for me when I refill from the chisel tip side. But that's just because on the chisel tip side I can like see the gaps on the sides of the chisel tip, so I can tell a whole lot easier when the ink is going down into the barrel, so that there's like a chance of less spillage. But yeah, in terms of use, usually it is the brush tip that gets the most use because the tip of the brush tip helps to get into those really tight corners. But yeah, and I think this brush tip actually, or chisel tip I should say, is also getting on the dry side, so this will probably be a good time for me to go ahead and refill this once I'm done coloring her hair, because I don't think there's anything else in these panels that requires these colors. If there is, well, that's what the refill is for. I think one of the most valuable lessons I learned about art was to be unafraid of using unafraid of using multiple media. Using ink or paint over a pencil sketch is 100% acceptable and encouraged. Absolutely. Like, multimedia art is definitely a thing, and sometimes using multiple types of art can even, enhance the look of it depending on the type of, look you're going for in your piece. That's why I've seen people who use colored pencils on top of alcohol markers or on top of watercolors, because it just adds a little bit more depth and texture to it in a way that they find appealing. So yeah. And even me, every now and again I'll dabble in crayons or alcohol not alcohol markers, but colored pencils, and I haven't in a while, but I do have a lot of watercolors. I have so much watercolor, actually. So much watercolor. And the only reason I haven't done that on stream is just because watercolors do take a while to dry, which means that it takes longer to get a full piece completely figured out. But also the amount of water that gets applied to the page over and over again has a chance of warping it a bit. Even on decent watercolor paper, there's a chance of warping, depending on how it's applied. But yeah, my sleep schedule's cooked. The price of having friends in other time zones. Absolutely. To be fair, my sleep schedule was a problem before that. Lifelong gaming. Yeah. T-tone hair, natural or dyed, or is that rude to ask? I keep going back and forth on it, to be honest. It makes more sense for the tips of the hair to be dyed, just because it does fit her personality. She is someone who likes to keep up her appearances. She likes to put on her makeup. She likes to wear, very fancy clothing. She likes to look her best as constantly as possible. So, yeah. So, I would not put it past her to put in the work to also, do touch-ups of, her hair whenever she can. So, yeah. But, we'll see. But yeah, I think that's probably most likely, is that she just touches it up herself. She puts in the work. That is very much within her character to do so. Right, I was going to grab yellow. So in order to protect my page from any spillage, I'm just going to just temporarily put my page protector here, so that while I'm refilling, I don't accidentally spill. But I also have to be careful with how much ink I put into these, because, you know, you can't exactly see how filled up it is inside. Maybe one of these days there's going to be a company that comes with, oh, they're markers that also have like a little strip inside, so you can actually see like how filled in the ink is, so that you're not just guessing. Like, yes, the alcohol inks have these, so that I think you're supposed to look at it and say, okay, it was at this line here. Once it's at that line, then you should stop. But it's like, I don't know. I guess there's multiple ways to go about it, but I have had a couple of times where I have overfilled the marker, and that would cause it to like leave blotches all over the page. You might actually see in a couple of past comic panels where I did that. I can actually think of two places where that happened. There was one actually art piece that I did way in the past of this channel, where it was the Snap Tracking Club hosts at the beach, and I accidentally did a whole spillage of like black all over Bakshi, unfortunately. And I just tried my best to just sort of use the lighter colors to kind of move the darker colors away, just so it looks a little like less of a mess. Like, you could still tell if you look for it, but apparently if I had said nothing, some people might not notice. So you know, it's worth it to fix it up sometimes. And then there's one panel in the Hunter's Tale, specifically it's in part 3. You'd be able to see it when Crystal wakes up at the Pisces Inn. There's one where, once again, a bit of darkness, a splotch of darkness is in there, and I had to try my best to fix it up as best as I could. So, you know, accidents happen. Like, even just today, I spilled like a splotch of blue. So this is why usually you don't, usually if you can, be a little bit more careful than me. Don't leave your stuff like open like this, on the off chance that, you know, they might roll around, they might tip over, and then they get ink all over the place, because they can and will stain. Especially on fabrics. If there are ways to get them out of fabrics, I do not have that knowledge on hand at the moment, so that will probably have to be stuff you'd have to look up on your own. I made the mistake of forgetting about ink bleed on my sketchbook. Rip the page behind it, I guess. Yeah. I am messy in general. This process scares me without that guessing. Yeah. But, you know, it's still fun. At least for me it is. Like, I don't know. With alcohol markers, I feel like I'm not pressing down on the page as hard to get the colors that I want or the textures that I want. So it's like easier on my hands, so I don't know. I feel like they've been like the easiest to work with to like for the longevity. But I feel like also one of these days I might want to return to watercolor if I can think of like some nice like big spread type artworks to do, because I'm not sure if I would ever do like watercolor for coloring my comic pages. Just, I don't know. I guess I'm scared that it'll like warp the page a bit if I like try to layer it on too thick, because I feel like I'm still a little bit of an amateur in that regard. So I wouldn't know how to use that as well as I do with alcohol markers. But they are fun. And I do like the sort of like pastel look that they can give off when they're just sort of swirled around and give a sort of dreamy effect. Maybe it'll be a potential Tuesday stream when I just mess around with watercolors and just try and make a big piece with them. See how long it takes for them to dry and if I can actually, you know, complete a piece during a stream. Okay. I think that's enough yellow. At least for now. But at least I have plenty, so that means that Mackenzie's hair is going to be nice and glowing for the time being. But it's not just Mackenzie's hair. There's also plenty of other places like Akasi's eyes and pendant that I also use the yellow on. He's got nice golden eyes. Artist alcoholic alchemy. Yeah. I mean, I was actually doing a thing earlier where I didn't want to like buy any more specific alcohol inks for the time being, but I still wanted some to see if I could do some like approximate color mixing. So I was grabbing like some disposable tiny little cups and seeing if I could take some of my alcohol refill inks and just sort of like mix them into the right color that I wanted. So there was a couple of browns that I could potentially make. So at least there was that. But yeah, they're more of a short-term fix than anything long-term. Pressing hard, is this still a habit I'm trying to kick? Yeah. I mean, I feel like it also depends on, like, because you're doing digital art at the moment as well for your comic, so it also depends on, like, what the sensitivity is on your stylus, huh? Also, do you do it on, like, a, like, solid tablet type and pen thing, or is it more like a screen tablet and you draw, like, directly onto it type thing? Project I came from as a kid, I wanted to make 100% sure it was visible on the page, and it made filling faster or sloppier. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Dungeon Smalls on an iPad using Procreate. Oh. That screen protector is the thing that makes it difficult. I see. Yeah. There were times when I, like, considered getting an iPad strictly for that, because I thought the idea of, like, drawing directly onto the screen was probably, like, it seemed like the coolest thing. And I was like, oh, I won't have to do this weird thing where I have to, like, draw here but look up there or to see what I'm doing. And because that's what I did, how I did my digital art, like, back then, was that I had, like, one of those bigger, like, tablets, but yeah, it's like it had to take up my whole desk space here, and then I had to look up the monitor that was, like, up there, and I just have to hope that the sensitivity would pick up and everything. Sometimes it would do this weird thing where the stylus, the cursor would jump to a different place, or it would, like, move in the reverse direction of where I was going. So I'd be like, dude, come on, please. Work with me here. touchscreen to an indirect tablet. Yeah, I can see that, yeah. But I do enjoy going back to traditional mediums because I have so much traditional media and it just feels like a waste to not use it, you know? Which is why I keep telling myself one of these days I'll go back to watercolor. I just haven't found a good opportunity for it. Like, I know I've done a couple of videos where I used watercolor, but you know, those are also with like time lapses and stuff, so it's like, who knows how long that would actually take and if it would be worth watching in a stream. But who knows? If I can figure out what to draw for a Tuesday stream, maybe that's what I'll do. Heck no, I tell you what. I'm slowly getting back to traditional just between beds. One thing made me realize how much I need to go traditional every so often. I made a mistake and my hand instinctively searched for undo. Aww. I've actually had other friends who have done that before, who are, predominantly digital artists who are like try to go back to digital or traditional and was like, wait, where's the Control Z? Where's the undo? So yeah, I totally get that. As for the progress of this comic, I'm currently at the point where I'm thinking maybe what I should do first before proceeding into other parts of the story is to go back a bit. So I might need to revisit a couple things that I thought I was going to say for later and be like, you know what, maybe I should get into that now, actually. Which is fine by me, because then it means I get to expand more about some lore bits, which is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to that. But I think I'm still trying to figure out where in the timeline some of these things are taking place, so I need to figure that out before I finalize any details. You ever look back at old stories of characters of yours and regret not going deeper on a theme you see? Well, perhaps, and perhaps that is also why I have been refurbishing and reusing old characters and concepts in Sanctus. Yeah. It's basically Sanctus's whole purpose is to bring to life what I couldn't before. And yeah, as you said, bring in new depths that could have been realized in the past, but hopefully done better now that I have a little bit more experience. Okay, but seriously, where did I put that purple? This is going to drive me a little bit nuts. Did I drop it somewhere? And if I didn't, well, I guess what I can do. Ah, jeez. Because I'm going to have to refill a different marker, a different color. I might have to do that because I cannot find the exact marker, and I don't want to spend all stream doing that. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to temporarily use this one since this one's running out anyways. And it's very close to what I was going for anyways. For me, with Mr. Repairman, should I revisit him and his family? One thing I want to delve into is this being a character who does not perform. All characters are built for performing. Yeah. Unsure if I should bring those blogs back on their own or as smaller players in something else, but yeah, the complexities of a sense of purpose. Absolutely, if you can find a use for them, whether it be in their own stories or as side characters. You know, they could start off as side characters in something else and then they can just bloom into their own stories. Which is kind of what I attempted to do for the grand opening comic, in which I focused on the hosts of the Snapdragon Club, but then I also, in the background, sprinkled in a couple of characters that I wanted to, maybe delve into more, such as, Crystal, Falcon, and Ollie, who got their own little Halloween episode in a sense, and before just being shoved off screen for a while. And eventually they got their own story in the Hunter's Tale, so there's that. It's still bugging me, man. It's still bugging me, but I gotta move on. Gotta move on. Just a couple drops will do for now. I don't think I need need that much. Okay. At least I think all those are covered, which is good. I like that. Leave yourself and the world open. Yeah, basically, because, like, you know, at any given point, I may have stories for, like, you know, grand adventures like you see in the Hunter's Tale. But at my current level, I'm not completely, like, I'm not so sure that I have the skill necessary or the experience necessary to tell as grand a tale as the one that I really want to do, which is the one involving Scotty Hijack as the main protagonist, the main hero of the story. And I really want to do her story justice. Her story, their story. Either one works. But, like, it is a sort of similar thing to what you have in mind, in the sense that it is about them finding a sense of purpose in a place where they didn't originally belong. But also, it comes along with the standard, you know, beat the bad guy, save the day sort of thing, just to have that nice, you know, satisfying sense of conclusion to it all, you know? This is powder pink. This is not what I want. Pastel peach. There we are. Admittedly, some of these colors are so light that sometimes I have a little bit of trouble figuring out if I'm still getting enough ink being laid down or if it's actually running low. Forward to seeing that tail eventually. Yeah. But until then, the actress's tail does in itself have its own sort of interesting bits and pieces to it, which I guess I should technically not get into so I don't accidentally spoil anything that I have in mind. But it is definitely something that I can at least hope I touch upon briefly well. If only because I think maybe I wouldn't say this is the first time touching upon certain subjects, but definitely like my first time trying to tell it in a way that's actually meant to be read by other people. Because if you're just writing a story in which you know what's going on, but there's no guarantee that anyone else outside of you knows what's going on, then it's like, I don't know. Like, if it's just for you, then it's great, but if it's meant to be, like, read and understood by others, then it may need a couple of tweaks before it's ready for that. So, it's just the gap between writing a story for myself versus writing it for a general, public to comprehend and understand is, I think, an art in its own that I'm trying to get better at. What in the world did I color this? Okay, I think it was brilliant for the table. Sky for the seats. Goodness. I think that is N6 for everything else. Just quickly. Grabbed what I dropped, which, would you look at that? There are stickers. For those who don't know, I have a Ko-fi link up here if you wish to support me in my art and my stories. And if you don't feel like just donating and buying me a boba, I also have stickers available in the shop, either as singles or as sets. Goodness, things are just falling all over the place. Let's see, the sky blue's over here. Here's the N6. And I think that's enough for now. I can go back and look at that later. Oh yeah, also, I think the exclamation Sanctus Cara command is working, so if you'd like to try that, see who you get. I basically reformatted the 8-ball in Stream Elements so that you should be getting a random character in Sanctus, whether it be someone who's already been introduced in a comic or someone who may be lore relevant, or someone who's just, you know, in the background that I have yet to find a purpose for yet. Dolly. So I guess I could say this now, that for those who don't know, Dolly is one of those characters who is actually from something else that I made beforehand. A couple who found my channel actually probably know my artwork and my voice from some things that I did like years ago. And Dolly went by another name back then. And as a little fun fact, if you've read the Hunter's Tale, you might recall that Fae have true names, And if you know what Dolly used to be, and know what she used to be called back then you already know her true name. Just don't go abusing it. Because she would not be happy, and you do not want an unhappy Fae. Tomikinu the Pirate Tailor. Ooh. Yeah, that's a deep cut one. Because originally, I did draw her at least once. Actually, a couple times on this channel, I've drawn her as a potential character who lives in Brazil, the same town that the Hunter's Tale takes place in. But I'm still not completely sure if I want her shop, the Skull and Hip Bones, to be there, or if she should be located in a different city. So, luckily you don't see hide nor hair of Tomikinu's shop in the Hunter's Tale, so I still have a chance to move her around if I decide she's more well suited to someplace else. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But she is definitely one of those characters who has potential, but I still have yet to figure out a proper place for her yet. In fact, actually, maybe I could quickly show off. This is ye old character Bible that I made a long time ago. Not even a long time ago. It's like not even. It's a little over 2 years old at this point, I suppose. But this is where I attempted to like keep a whole bunch of stuff related to characters in here. So here is Tomikinu right here. here. So she's very much a more girly, stereotypically girly type, very much more feminine character, so but I still love her to bits, and I'm still trying to figure out what to do with her. But yeah, I think she has plenty of potential, so I want to do her justice when I eventually get around to her. But I guess as a small fun fact, originally she started out as my One Piece OC. And One Piece is a piece of media that I feel like I'm continuously like boarding and unboarding from the Thousand Sunny. It's like I never completely leave the Straw Hat Pirates, but I haven't been following them as closely as I have in the past. But once One Piece is closer to its conclusion, I'll probably start making my way back to it. So long as that's working. That's all I care about. Huge anglefish. And let's see how this looks. And that should be fine. Consider replacing the brush nib on this one because it is getting to the part where it's like it is very super light, and when I put it down, like it can get a little bit streaky even when it's full, so that probably means that there's something like in the fibers that's like coming apart. I can't say that I'm any sort of expert on this, but these are just my off the cuff guesses. That I didn't do yet is this one. For this, maybe I don't want to use any. Maybe I'll just use straight black. Honestly, it is super rare that I use just pure black. And considering Mac's ears are already at N6, I'm hoping that this will give a little bit more contrast so it's more discernible from the background. for those both in chat and watching the VOD. Hope you're having a good day so far. Hope you're drinking plenty of water or just staying hydrated otherwise. And I also hope you're getting plenty of rest, eating well. And just taking care of yourself in general. Feel free to tell me in the comments what the weather's been like for you, because it's been pretty warm where I'm at. So that's why I'm definitely drinking plenty of liquids myself. I should not be coloring that in. That is not where that goes. But that's okay. It's only on the side. I can kind of fix that later. Cool, but now it's warm. It's pretty weird. Apparently daylight savings for me is in November. Yeah, it's like you'd think autumn would be here by now, but no, it's still thinking it's summer for some weird reason. September when I was a kid. Honestly, I can't keep track of when daylight savings, when spring forward and fall back is supposed to occur, but honestly, one of these days, I get to just go away. I don't think that's a system we need anymore. I don't think, but yeah, it would make things a little bit simpler, just a little bit. Kinda hoping that using this a bit more will use up the rest of this Copic marker, because in that way I can finally get rid of it. I already have another marker that I use for pure black, so I don't need two. I really don't need two. And I'm just gonna double check. What colors I used for where the snapdragons are. Okay, I think it's this one and the light blue. And it's also the reverse for that one, which I think I might have missed a spot. So I'm just gonna really quickly color that in. This page is almost done. I just need to color and shade a couple of things, and then we can move on to the second page. Start seeing some interesting pages by the time Halloween rolls around. Actually, let me do a quick check. So that's 2. That's 2. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna hit the these up by at least sometime in October. So at least I'll be in this more seasonal appropriate pages by the time that happens. Assuming that everything stays on schedule. And then I'm just gonna add a little finishing touch. And then we can move on to the second page. Checking, but I think this has turned out pretty good. Page 2. And just like before, it is more or less all marked out for me because I inked it in colored ink. Start off with Mac this time. really feel the need to move the nib quickly, because if I keep it too long in one place, the ink will just start pooling in one place, and I don't want it to spread like that. I just want it to fill the space that it's in, and just that. I think what I've learned to do when it comes to like the pointed tips, like the ends of Mac's hair and fur, is that I just kind of go towards the tip when I'm moving the brush, so that way when I start lifting it, the only thing touching the paper is the pointed tip, so it gets like as thin as it can get. At least that's the hope. I don't always strictly adhere to that, but generally speaking, I feel like that's what I end up doing. I think that's all the red spots I can get. I guess I can color in his mouth red, actually. That's fine. Oh, yeah. Hikari is back in here, which means to remember which greens to use. Picked up an RPG called Blades in the Dark recently. Oh yeah? How's that been going? I don't think I've heard of that game. So I think it's horseradish for the lighter parts and then vivid green for the darker parts. I really should have started with the darker parts first, just in case, because you can always go darker with alcohol markers, but it is difficult and near impossible to go lighter. Also, this is one of those moments where I didn't want the green to completely, like, melt into the line art, so that's why the outside is still in black ink instead of just green, so that way the lighter green will still show up, but the darker green will not melt with the line art. Axie is looking decent so far. It's not part of his shirt. That's okay. I think I can cover that up pretty easily. Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm gonna cover that up really easily because that's a very dark blue. That's what its true color is supposed to be. like how the action resolution is focused on making sure everyone knows what's going on. The first step is literally this player states their goal with this action. Nice. I still need to play it, but I've been reading it. I see. The players are scoundrels in a Victorian city with supernatural stuff going on. Dishonored is a stated inspiration. Ooh. Yeah, I've heard of Dishonored. Haven't played that one either. There you go. There's some decent bright yellows in there. Speaking of games, actually, one of my other artist friends, Alpha, he recently introduced me to a new game called Played Up, which is kind of in the same vein as Overcooked, but it's also a little bit kind of like a roguelite type of thing. Where it's like, even if you fail, you get upgrades and stuff to do better next time. At least from what I've seen so far. So... yeah. It's been pretty fun. Considering going back and coloring in Piero's cape as black instead of blue. Because, well, Yes, in a vacuum, it's nice for it to match his hair. But when it comes to him being put in the Snapdragon Club, I'm scared that all those blues are just making him blend into the background. So I might need to go back and color those in, but I'll think on that later. In the meantime, I'll just do other colors for now while I think on it. Because his hair is definitely staying dark blue. That's staying. Hey, hello, welcome, welcome. Not a whole lot. Oh, you got a plastic bag. Darn. But yeah, I hope you're doing well. We've been doing pretty good so far. We got one page done of the comic already. Oop. It's this one right here. I kind of like how these two panels came out in particular. But yeah. I'm gonna work on making charms when you get home. Awesome. Yeah, page done. I'm glad you approve. I'm thinking at the rate that I'm going, we'll probably start getting into more October appropriate pages by the time like on schedule at least. I won't say how long until then, but if I keep doing these every Friday, should be good. Also, I'm considering whether or not I should do a watercolor type art on Tuesday and what the subject matter should be. Because I have lots of watercolor, like a lot. And I do have some watercolor paper left, so I would be able to do at least one piece of watercolor artwork on stream, I think. I just need something that's, you know, worth it. Wondering if I need input for charms. Was gonna make Alistair, Angel Dust, and maybe Vox charm for my next art bending. Really want to do it, but maybe. Ooh, Alistair, Angel Dust, and Vox are really good ones, especially with season 2 coming out at the end of October. So, Houseman Hotel I think will definitely be at the forefront of a lot of people's minds. Some guy in the buses will have a watermelon. Watercolors, I love painting them when I do kimono stuff, just because I use the chisel brush. Also, depends on what you got. Yeah, I mean, most likely it would be a Sanctus themed piece. I'd probably be thinking like something like a character in a like pastel background sort of thing. I just don't know which character or characters it should be. But preferably, I think it should be someone that I haven't drawn in a while. was you, I'd suggest Bakshi. Maybe you draw Dolly if it's pastel. So maybe something with Bakshi and Dolly, maybe? I could probably figure out something for that.
Had it right here.
message. I'm glad you approve. I will probably get to work on figuring out a sketch after the stream for that. But as for today's stream, I think it's almost come to an end. All I really need to do now is color in this black, and then I might change the mouth color to something darker here. I think I'll fill in that glass color a little bit here. Ooh, did I get a crab? Somehow that fits. And I am considering changing Piero's like outer cloak to black, or N6, a really dark gray, technically, because there's a lot of blue. There's a lot of shades of blue in the Snapdragon Club. There's a lot. There's a lot of blue. So I'm thinking I might need to return that to black, just so he's not blending into the background so much. Soon? Yeah, don't worry about it. You get home safe. That's more important. And besides, I think at this rate the stream will end soon, so you won't be missing much. Hi, Ferox. Welcome, welcome. Bye, Haruo. Have a good nap. But yeah, the arts are going well, Ferox. So as one last little peek, here's the last page that we got done today. And personally, my favorite two panels are these two. Yeah, I'm almost done with the second page for today. I'm just in the midst of also deciding of whether or not I'm going to end up changing Piero's cloak color, because it is dark blue, but it's also the same shade of dark blue as his hair, which is also the same shade as a couple of other elements of the background in the Snapdragon Club, which is making me think that he's at risk of blending into the background too much, so I might need to go back and make the outside of his cloak black instead. Like, I'm trying not to change around the colors too much in the comic itself, but sometimes it's like everything seems to flow well until characters are in a certain position that I'm like, the way they're overlapping, some colors are being repeated one too many times, and I'm a little scared that they will blend. Also, fishing is working again if you'd like to try that out again. I feel like I'm at the point where this marker is almost completely dried out, which is great because that means I get to toss this one away because I already have a black marker. I don't need two. works. Some iced boba coffee today. That sounds good. That really does. I unfortunately am no longer in a position where I can easily get my my fix of boba, so Is my PNG okay. I was about to say, is my PNGtuber now working? Okay. It was just not moving for a bit. That was weird. Anyways, but yeah. Maybe the sensitivity is just really low for it for some reason. Liquids were quite nicely drawn. Thank you very much. It's been a hot minute since I've colored liquids. I've been looking at how others also draw liquids as well and color them in, so I took a little bit of inspiration from there, and other than that, I was just mostly winging it. Hikari is being cut off from boba. Yeah. And that's where you can help. You can buy me a boba. Technically, buying a boba would actually cost a lot more than the $2 I set it for, but I wanted the donation to be accessible because I put up a thing set up for Ko-fi where if you donate during the stream, then a little pop-up gift should pop up with your any message that you leave behind as well. So it can be oh, thank you for the donation and stuff like that. So you can metaphorically buy me a boba via the Ko-fi link, which is up here, or if you don't feel like just plain donating, I also have the sticker shop where you can buy stickers of my Sanctus characters. There's these ones, and then there's other ones from the same set, and then there's also ones from the Hunter's Tale, including Shade the Nightmare Fae, which Ferox voices. I might need to rethink this because I really thought that, having it all blue like this, yes, in a void, he stands out, but I think in the context of the Snapdragon Club, he's going to need to wear a darker cloak. I think I'm going to test it out on this page actually. Really don't know. I think I might have to stick with a dark blue for now. Okay. Sticking with it for now. Maybe it's the inside of his cape that's bugging me a little bit. Well, I think this is about as good as it's gonna get. So here it is. Second page of the stream complete. Honestly, I think the best parts about this page is how I'm doing the blue snapdragons in the background. Because there's some little bits of detail going on in the back that anyone who's read the grand opening comic will recognize is happening. It's just a small little lore tidbit. It's not necessary to understand the story as a whole, but it's there in the background. That's kind of how a lot of things are going in some of the stories. I feel it's like sometimes there's stuff happening in the background that's not necessary to understand the main story as a whole, but if you're looking to like piece together the greater lore of Sanctus and the Snapdragon Club, then they are there. But yeah, with that, I think I will call today's stream. So thank you very much everyone who decided to stop by for today. I'm glad we got a lot of progress done. I know it's like we're always doing 2 pages at a time every Friday, but honestly, it like you may be surprised just how much effort it takes just to do that, because in between streams I'm also like doing all the inking and sketching up more pages, so a lot of like background work goes into that, so yeah. But yeah, for those who were in chat and those who stopped by to watch the VOD, thank you so very much. If you can, like, comment, and subscribe. That helps the channel out a whole lot. And if you can, also like spread the word about the channel. You know, tell people about my art and my stories if you can. And as one last plug-in, if anyone is able to support my art monetarily, my Ko-fi link is up there. And once again, if donations aren't your thing, the stickers are available. Yeah. So once again, thank you very much for stopping by, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Thank you very much. Bye. Have a good weekend.